Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio, so today we need to take a little bit of a look at the most expensive shiny Pokemon in the history of the Pokemon trading card game. What we basically got here is a whole bunch. There's been a few different times in the history of the Pokemon TCG where shiny Pokemon have come in, and a little while ago I showed you the ones from the Shiny Vault sets, from recent sets like Shining Fates, and as a bunch of people pointed out, nice list, but come on, Wassy, how about extending it to everything? And I thought, you know what? Yeah, let's extend it to everything. Why not, ladies and gentlemen? Why not? So here is my list of the top 10 cards. We're largely going by TCG player prices here because they are a very good comparison. We have obviously had a good look at places like eBay, etc. as well to check, but TCG player is a very good place to start. So we've got a couple of honorable mentions here. We've got Shining Magikarp, which comes in about $530, and Shining Kabutops, which comes in at about $560. And they're very, very close, but they didn't quite make the list. Shining Magikarp is from Neo Revelation. That was the 10th TCG set. To put that into context, we're now up to set 92. That came around in September 2001. And Shining Kabutops comes from Neo Destiny, which is literally the set after that, came around in February 2002. And this was in the early days of the Pokemon TCG, back in the Gen 2 era, the Neo sets, where we had these Shining Pokemon, and they were limited to one during your, in your deck of any type. And they were all shiny, obviously, that's the whole point of the list, and they were all basic Pokemon, even if they were Stage 2s or whatever. Close, but no cigar. In at number 10, we've got the only quote-unquote, recent card on the list. It's a Charizard from Plasma Storm, and Charizard is special. We had a bunch of these in Plasma Storm, and they're very cool cards. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know, a bunch of Gen 5 sets, to be honest with you, none of them come even close. There was a Terrakion that came out around about the same time. Terrakion doesn't even get close. It's $45. The cards that didn't make the list were hovering around $530. Terrakion's not even at $50. It's a beautiful card, doesn't make the list. Charizard's the only one that comes close. As a side note, those recent sets, it's only Charizard V Max that comes close on there, and that's, that's $105-ish. So it doesn't actually even come that close. It's just miles ahead of the rest of the cards. The recent ones in the Shiny Vault, they're not even there. This Charizard squeaks onto the list, and I'll be honest with you, it's because it's Charizard. There were a bunch of these in the Gen 5 sets, in the black and white sets. None of them got close, except for Charizard that makes the list. In at number 9, we've got Mewtwo Star. And this comes in around about $590. And a lot of this is to do with the fact that it is a Mewtwo. People love Mewtwo. Mewtwo is one of the most popular Pokemon around, so $590 for a Mewtwo Star is about right. What is very interesting here, this is a Star Pokemon rather than a Shining Pokemon, although they were honestly kind of similar. They were all basic Pokemon, and you couldn't have more than one Pokemon Star in your deck of any type. And they were shiny, so they were very much the successor to Shiny Pokemon, or Shining Pokemon as they said on the card. Now these actually came along quite a lot later, so Mewtwo Star for instance was from Holon Phantoms. Holon Phantoms was actually the 28th set, so we're talking May 2006 this actually came around, so quite a lot later honestly. Very similar kind of deal, but quite a lot later. And in at number 8, one that surprised me greatly, Shining Steelix. Now, it's there at $600, right? So it's only a smidge above the other ones we've seen on this list, but I wouldn't have imagined that Shining Steelix would come higher than things like Mewtwo Star and Charizard, but honestly here, it's the Shining Pokemon. They were very, very rare. the pull rates were very, very low. Steelix is not popular in the same way as someone like a Charizard or a Mewtwo, but it's a cool card, it's a very old card, and when you build in the low pull rates, that really is what puts it onto this list. I mean, for context, Shining Steelix was some Neo Destiny, the same set as Shining Kabutops, and Kabutops and Steelix aren't exactly the stars of the Pokemon world. They just so happen to be in a set where the Shining Pokemon had very, very low pull rates. In at number 7, and this one is kind of delightful to me, we've got Mudkip Star. I love Mudkip Star. It's Mudkip. And somehow Mudkip comes in as around about a $600 card and makes its space in at number 7 on this list. Now, this was actually from Team Rocket Returns, which is, the 22nd set came out in November 2004. So again, we're looking at these EX era sets. And for some reason I don't particularly understand, Mudkip ends up quite a bit higher than some of the other ones. Trico Star and Torchic Star, that they're not on this list. And that's not a mistake on my part. Torchic is listed at about $305, and Trico is listed at about $345. Mudkip is just the best among them. Some people say it had a lower pull rate. Some people say it's just because Mudkip is adorable. All I know is it gets on the list at number 7. Now, in at number 6, we've got Espeon Star. And Espeon Star is one of these Pokemon, I'll be honest with you, I could see this being higher. I could easily imagine Espeon Star being a lot higher in the future, and it's worth pointing out Espeon Star is currently sold out over on TCG Player, so we've got a rough guide, but let's be clear, Espeon Star is a bit ridiculous. And the reason is, it was in Pop 5. Pop 5 was as like a promo set. You'd go along to League, you play a few games, you get a pack of Pop 5. And most of the Pop series cards, they generally lasted for about 6 months. Most of them weren't particularly good. There was lots of reprints, etc. Though there were exclusive cards in some of them. But Pop 5 had Espeon Star. And the pull rates were hilarious and not in a good way. And basically, the value of this just gets put up and up. I could easily see this just jumping up in the future. Seriously, this card was not easy to get hold of. In at number 5, we've got Mew Star. Now, Mew Star was a bit more sensible. Mew Star came out in Dragon Frontiers, or EX Dragon Frontiers, which, I mean, again, you're still going back quite a long way at this stage, let's be clear. You're talking about the 30th set, came out in November 2006, but this was at least in a regular set. But it's Mew. And I know, and I'm sorry, I know that for a bunch of these Pokemon, I'm telling you, wow, they're popular Pokemon. But we look down this list, we got Mew, we got Espeon, we got Mewtwo, we got Charizard. And I hate to break it to you, but all the rest of the cards on this list are also very popular Pokemon as well. This is up to $800, so we still haven't had a huge jump. We've only gone up $225 since number 10. We're going to start seeing some jumps. Well, the jumps are going to get bigger from here on, let's put it that way. But either way, Mew Star is very cool. Now, in at number 4, we've got Shining Gyarados. That comes in at about $900, so we are getting closer and closer to that elusive $1,000 mark. And actually here, this is a very iconic card because of the artwork. Lots of the Shining Pokemon just kind of had close-ups of the Pokemon with poses and a bit of background, but this Shining Gyarados actually had the Gyarados with the red eyes attacking the fisherman. It really harkened back to playing Gold and Silver, and if you played the games, you'll know what I'm on about here, and this has made it a really iconic card, to the point where Shining Magikarp got in as the first of the Shining Pokemon, but I could have imagined Shining Gyarados being, well, the better option for being reprinted in celebrations, because actually this is a very, very iconic card. Came around in Neo Revelation, which incidentally is the same set as the Magikarp, which is kind of awesome. And this is just, it's Gyarados, and the pull rates are very low, and that kind of explains it, honestly. In at number 3, we've got Shining Mewtwo, and Shining Mewtwo, That came from Neo Destiny. Now, this is actually the same set as Steelix and the same set as Kabutops. But make no mistake about it, there were 2 cards in Neo Destiny that were the absolute stars. One of them was Shining Mewtwo. None of these Shining cards were hugely playable. If you look back through deck lists, you're not going to find these littering deck lists. Some of the stars really were playable. The Shining ones really aren't. The difference here is that it's Mewtwo, and it's Shining Mewtwo. And this was back in the early days of Pokemon, where Mewtwo was even more popular than it is nowadays, but not quite as popular as the number 2 card on the list, Shining Charizard. Shining Mewtwo is like $1,100. Shining Charizard is $1,500, which is just ridiculous. I told you the gaps were going to start getting bigger. And this can largely be explained with the phrase, it's Charizard. And there are a lot of very expensive Charizard throughout the history of the Pokemon TCG. Charizard is one of them. But actually, if you go to TCG Player and you put them all there and you list them front to back, the most expensive Charizard that comes up is actually this one. This is the one that comes up as the most expensive because, frankly, the pull rates were so low. And in the Neo set, now let's be clear, I am not saying that the game was doing badly, but I'm saying that the game came out as an absolute rocket ship out the gate. And it really got invigorated around about, well, really when Wizards of the Coast took over around about Gen 3. And then it's grown and it's waxed and waned as we go. But this was not the height of the Pokemon TCG in terms of sales, these Neo sets. So you add all of that together, and that's why so many Shining Pokemon are on this list. But Charizard was always going to be number 2. Because Umbreon Star was going to be number 1. And Umbreon Star, I don't imagine it's ever going to get dethroned. Because you see, Umbreon Star came around in Pop 5, just like Espeon Star. But there are 2 things, and then really the pull rates are basically identical between the 2 cards. But there are 2 things that really separate Umbreon Star and Espeon Star. Firstly, Umbreon is just more popular than Espeon. You can argue it however you like, Umbreon is more popular than Espeon, that's a thing. However, it's also a legit playable card. I told you most of the cards on this list aren't playable, and that's absolutely true. Umbreon bucks the trend. Because the Poké Power Dark Ray, once during a turn when you put Umbreon Star from your hand onto your bench, you can choose 1 card from your opponent's hand without looking and discard it. Yeah, this actually saw a whole bunch of play. This card, I should mention, was the other one on this list that actually ended up getting reprinted in the Celebration set, which is really rather cool. And make no mistake about it, this is number 1, and do not expect it to be dethroned anytime soon. This one is absolutely here to stay. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's my list of the most expensive Shining Pokemon. It's very, very cool. I love all of these cards. I own none of these cards, I'll be honest with you. But maybe one day, ladies and gentlemen, maybe one day. I own plenty of shiny Pokemon cards, just none of the ones on this list. But now it's over to you guys. I want to know what you think about this list. I want to know which of these cards you own. I want to know anything you want to tell me about the Pokemon TCG, these cards, or anything else. So go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games and all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.